In this video, I'm going to show you how to edit pages in Elementor. If you want to learn to edit existing pages quickly, then you're in the right place, so stick around to the end of the video. We're going to cover how the page builder works, sections, columns and widgets, adding images, changing images, setting image backgrounds in sections, editing text, changing fonts and font colours. A very important step which you should not miss out, optimising pages for desktop, tablet and mobile devices. I'll show you how to move sections and columns so you can change the layout, how to add custom colours, how to set up the contact form the correct way and avoid common mistakes. To finish off, we're going to learn how to create and edit a gallery. Timestamps are in the description below, and links to Elementor, plus a fantastic hosting company that I recommend and use. Let's go! Okay, so here's our fairly typical Elementor site. We've got a header at the top here with our menus, button, our logo in the top left corner, and then we've got what we call our hero section here, a scroll down, and then we've got some more content, and we've got a column here and another column here. Then we've got a rather large section with two columns. There's nothing in the left-hand column, and we've got text and content in the right column. So this is a fairly typical web page that you like to come across. So to edit it, if you're already logged into your WordPress website, all you need to do is click on Edit with Elementor, or the other way of getting to this page is by going to the WordPress dashboard, which is here. Then all we do is go to Pages, All Pages, and then here's our front page. And all I've got to do now is press Edit with Elementor. And that's going to open a page in Elementor so we can now play around with things, edit text, change images. So we're now in the Elementor page builder. The way it works is you've got sections, columns and widgets. This big blue box here is what we call a section, and it's got a single column in it here. So that's a column, and that's a symbol for a column. If I scroll down, we've got another section here, which is the blue box. And then within that, we've got two columns. So there's one column and there's a second column. And to edit these, all we need to do, if you want to change some text, is I just move my mouse over it, can click on the pencil, and then over in the left-hand side, we've got the inspector panel. So this is where we can change the text. So I could put my heading, and also if I wanted to change the text below, click on this one, and we go, how to use Elementor. So we can edit text like that, or you can edit the text by clicking on it directly. I'll change that to Quick Guide. So you can type in either in here or in the inspector panel. I always prefer to use the inspector panel. The easiest way to think of Elementor is boxes within a box. I'll show you what I mean now. So I'll scroll down. I'm going to press the plus icon down here, and then it shows me different options. So that's having one big box. That's 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, and you can also have other options like 30% on the left, 70% on the right, and the other way around. So it gives you a whole bunch of options. If I select a single section, you see here it's making one big box. I can go up to my widgets here, which is kind of like my text, my images and things like that. So if I drag this in here, see there it'll put an image in there. We can choose the image. So I can go to Media Library. So if I want to have this image, I just click on it, press Insert, and it's dropped the image into that widget. To delete a section, you can press the X. What we're going to do this time is create 2 columns. So I press the plus button, I can press the 2 columns here, and we've now got one big section, so that's one box with 2 boxes inside it. So if I wanted to, I could put a background image in here. So I could go to Style, select background type classic, select an image, have a skier, press insert media, and our skier is in the background, and then you can adjust all the sorts of things like position. So I'd go center, attachment, you can have it so it scrolls with the picture or not, repeat, no repeat, size, cover, so that'll make it fill the whole box. But watch what happens when we start adding more content into these. I go to my widgets, go to image, drag an image into here. We see now as I start to add in content, the box expands automatically. So I choose an image, I have a cyclist, and then I can go widget, drag another image into this column, choose another image, have another skier, insert media, and we can see there it's starting to build our box structure. So here's our main section, so that's our big box, and then we got a box on the left and a box on the right, which are called columns. So that's the basics of building with Elementor. We're going to get rid of this. Scroll back up to the top. So in this one, we've got one big box and one column inside. If you want to change the background image in the first box, click on the 6 little dots up here. And then you want to go to Style. And here you can click on the image. We'll click on that. And then you can change it for a different one. So if I wanted to upload an image, for example, I've got some here. So if I wanted to do a gaming monitor, for example, all I need to do is find the image that you want, drag it in here, wait for it to upload, press Insert Media, and we can see now we've got an image. So we've got our image in, it's not quite right. What we can do to fix that is we've got some options here. So position, if I go center, and also we can change the attachment to default, and then it jumps up. But you see now it stopped scrolling. If we want the image to move as we scroll, we can go attachment fixed. We'll bring it to the bottom, but as you scroll, you see there, it has that effect on the image. So you can do all kinds of things like that with Elementor. If I want to change things like the font, so where we've got quick guide, I can click on it. I can go into style. And if we want to change the text color, all I've got to do is go text color, click on the color, and we can move it around. We see now it's gone for like a red. And you can adjust things like the opacity by moving this down to make it more faint. I think for this, I'd keep it at 100%. So you can do little things like that. If you wanted to change the font altogether, where it says typography, click on that. And this is where you can change the font. You can click on default. And if you like a specific font like Lato, I can try that. As soon as I click on it, you should see it changes. So you can go through all the different Google fonts, click one that you like the look of. And you can adjust things like the size of the font by moving the slider right and left. So that's adjusting the size. You can adjust things like the font weight, so you can have it more chunky if the font supports it. This one doesn't. Okay, there we go. So 100. You see there, it should make the font slightly thicker. Transform, we can make it all uppercase. We can make it all lowercase. Capitalize everything. Or we can just leave it on normal or default. Style, you can have normal, italic, and oblique. Decoration, you can do things like underline, overline, and the options are all there. So it's just a case of clicking on it. And you can adjust things like line height if you've got several words. If I put that on there, go to typography, play with the line height. We can adjust the gap on the line height there. We can also adjust things like the letter spacing, space them out like that. And you can also adjust things like the word spacing. So I put these back on one line. Go to typography, play about with the word spacing. So it's got all that good stuff that you can customize in the inspector panel. And we're in the main section now. If I wanted to reduce the space between the top and the bottom, I could do that here. So I click on the 6 dots, go to advanced, and you see there we've got a thing called padding. As I reduce that, look what's happening here. It's moving it all up. So that's reducing the space from the top. So I put in 100 and also reduce the space on the bottom to 100. You can adjust it to whatever you like. The easiest way to understand the difference between margins and padding, if I click on this column here, go to advanced, padding is everything inside this box and margins are everything outside of this box. I'm going to unlink this so they're separate values. So I'm going to adjust the inside of this column. If I wanted to push this text over to the left-hand side, I could put padding on the right. So I'm pushing it from the right to the left to do that. I go to 0. And if I add a margin, I go for a margin from the top. If I put 100, you see now it's pushed everything down. And then you can reset it with a 0. So yeah, the way to think of it is padding is on the inside, margins are on the outside. And also remember, when you make any changes in Elementor, press update. So you could go through and customize this entire site to your liking. So I make the background black. There we go, that's starting to look better. And then I'll just add some more padding in the top here, advanced. Go to padding, I think it was on about 270 before, that looks really good. And 270 from the bottom. So you see there, you can play around quite easily and adjust your hero section. And our image is fixed, so when I scroll up the page, the image moves in the background. Then moving on to buttons. So we've got our Learn More button, click on that, and it's going to bring up the options. Here you can edit the text. So I could say buy now. And then I could go to my link. I could link it to my product page. I'm just going to link it to the contact page for the time being. So I type in contact. And you see there, it will find the page for us. Click on that. And that button is now linked to our contact page. You can play around with all the settings in the inspector. You can align the button to the left, to the right. You can have it justified, so it's taking up the full width. But I prefer to have it in the center because I think that looks neater. And you can add things like icons to it. You can just decide. So if I click on icon library, it brings up all these different options. So you could choose one that you like the look of, press insert. And we see now it's put the icon on the left. So with this, you can set the icon position before or after. And you can adjust things like the spacing. So it should start feeling pretty familiar. And then if we want to change the color, so if I want to change it from blue to red, I get a style. And then where it says button, background type, then we got color, I can move it to our red. I can make text color white so it matches the rest of the site. And then we can press update. So that's our header kind of done. Another neat feature of Elementor is when you're working on something, you always want to check it on different devices. So if I go down to the bottom left corner here, we've got responsive mode. At the moment, it's showing us what it looks like on a desktop. If I click this button here, it's now gone to tablet view. So here's our hero section on tablet view, which all looks good. If you think the text is a bit big on the tablet, click on it, go to style, typography, and you can adjust the size. So I can make it maybe a touch smaller on the tablet, and it's only affecting the tablet. So I go back to desktop, you see the size is good, go to tablet, and it's a bit smaller. So it's a way of fine tuning it for each device. And again, on the mobile, I can click on it. I can maybe go typography, maybe make it a tiny bit smaller on the mobile. So you can adjust it so it looks perfect on every device. And then go back to the desktop. Whenever you've finished, press update. So that's how you could do a hero section in Elementor. Other cool things that you can do is you can move sections around. Say I wanted this section here above that section. I could grab this, drag it up and let go. So it's now above that section. And if I want to undo that, you see here we got history. I can go to the previous one and swap it back by pressing that. So that's your history down here. That's quite a handy one to know. And then we can come down into this section and we can start adding our text and content. So we can start giving things like this a title. Like we could call it Service 1. We got Service 2. And you could fill in information about your product or your service, and then you could link the button to the page. And next we're going to have a quick look at copy and paste. Say, for example, I want to change how this looks in the text in here, and I also want to do it in this column as well. Click on the text that you want to change, go on Style, go to Content, then I'm just going to change the typography of the title. So I'm just going to go for a different font, so we'll go for Verdana, and we'll make the other typography Verdana just for this purpose. So they've all changed, and I also want to make the button have a red background, so I go Style, Color, move that to the red. So rather than having to do all of that each time, what you can do with this is you can right click, copy, then go into the next column and go right click, paste style. See how that's changed that? And I can do the same with the button, right click, copy, right click, paste style. And that's a really good little time saver. Elementor also has a thing called global settings. By going to the top left corner here, site settings, and we can go global colors. So if you know your brand's colors, you can add them in. I'm going to add in that red color because we're using it quite a bit on this site. So I can go add color, click on the color, select it. Here's our red. And then I can just give it a name, red. So if we want to reuse that color again anywhere in the site, it's really easy to find, or you could use it as your brand coloring. So you can add as many of these colors as you want. And then next time you go to change a color in Elementor, that will be on the options. We can also go to global fonts. So if you know your brand uses a font or your company likes a certain font, we can go to global fonts. So we can set that in here. So you can set to Roboto at the moment. Our text is also set to Roboto. So you can apply custom fonts in here. Press update. So I'm going to go down to the buttons. Okay, so here's our blue button. Click on that. Now if I go style, color, I can click on global, and there you go. There's our red, so we don't have to hunt around for it. Press update. So that's a quick little time saver. So in here we've got 3 columns, 1, 2 and 3. If you want to change the layout around, you can do. It's just like sections, you can drag them up and down, but with columns, you just drag them left and right. So I want to swap that one with that one. I can drag it across and let go, and it's moved it around. It's also possible to copy entire sections. So with a section here, I want to copy this and have it below this one. I can go click on here, right click, duplicate. So our section's duplicated. I'm going to grab this and drag it down. And then we can go in and customize it, click on the 6 dots, change the picture. I'm going to upload another image here. Insert media. There we go, our new image is in. And then you customize it as you did before. And once you've finished working on the page, it's always a good idea to check it on the devices. So go to responsive view, check it all on the tablet. So scroll up and down across the whole page, make sure it's looking good on each device. I'm happy with that on tablet. Then we'll have a quick look on mobile. Okay, yeah, so we see here on the mobile, it doesn't look so good. So how would we fix this? So to fix this on mobile, because it doesn't look quite right, we're going to go to advanced and have a look in here. You see there, it's got 50 pixels from the left, change that to 0. And we see now it's starting to look a bit better. So it's fitting in more like what we want. So that's in the center, that's in the center. And I'm going to do the same on this one up here. So I'm going to go column, advanced, set that to 0, and that should centralize everything and fix any of the issues. So always worth checking on mobile, because if you publish that, and majority of people are going to be looking at the site on a mobile, it looks a lot better. Just spend a few seconds checking everything before you update it. Press update. We'll go back to a desktop view. And once you're happy with customizing the page, all you need to do is go to the top left corner here, exit, and it might ask you this the first time you do it. You want to select all posts and then press apply, and that'll take you back to all your pages, and you can leave the site. So then you can repeat the process for the other pages. We're going to have a quick look at the contact page. So I go edit with Elementor. So we're on the contact page. What we want to do is make sure that our form is connected to the correct email address. So I can do that by clicking on here. Then in the widget, it's bringing up the options, got name, email, message. I always like to add telephone number in. So I can click add new item, click tel, and then call it telephone. Make that a required field, and then move that above message. So you got name, email, telephone. And then you can hide the label, which is the bit at the top. And also we want to make sure that these items are required. So I can close each one. Then email required, telephone required, message required. So those are key things I'd always check when I'm doing a form. And then you want to scroll down to go to email. Then make sure your website email address is in this box here. And the other important thing is when you press reply to, click on that, make sure email field is selected and press update. Then that way the email should come to your work email. To link your social media icons, click on the icon there, and then where it says Facebook, click on that to drop it down. And then all you do is in here, paste your Facebook URL. So delete the little hash, paste in my Facebook URL. Also in settings, what I like to do is link options, open in a new window, then that way they stay on the site and it opens the Facebook in a new tab. And I do the same for each of those. So I'd find all my links, paste them in and press update. Again, we're going to check it on each device. So go to responsive mode, check it on a tablet, looks good to me, and check it on a mobile. So that's all looking really good. Then we go exit. And you just go through each page, one after the other, and get them styled how you want. One other thing we need to have a look at is galleries. So I'll go to the home page. I'm just going to create a new section. The best way for galleries is normally one single section. and then I'll set it up in this particular way. So edit section, I go content, full width, columns gap, no gap, and then I'm going to click on our widgets and then just type in the word gallery. And this gallery here is a bit more advanced because there's more options. Drag that in. And here's where we can add our images. So you click the plus, choose the images that you want, press create new gallery, and you can change the order by dragging them. The one that's on the left, that's going to appear first. So I want the monitor on the left, so I want that one. Press insert gallery. And you'll probably be able to see they look a little bit fuzzy and soft. So what we need to do is turn up the image size, so change that from medium to medium large and see if that makes them look better. If you're happy with that, that's great, leave it on that. And you can do things like adjust the column. So if you wanted to have 2 columns so you can make them bigger, you could do it by that way. But I think 4 looks really good. And also you can adjust the spacing. 2 looks really good. Keep the aspect ratio at 3:2 because that's a normal size for photos. You can change it if you want. And that's the basics of doing galleries. That's the basics of Elementor. There's more in-depth tutorials on my channel. Please leave a comment below if you found this helpful or if you'd like me to cover something more specific. Hit the like button and smash that subscribe. If you didn't like it, well, hit that dislike twice. Thanks for watching.